Bob Mortimer told how he saw an eerie bright light in a near-death experience that completely changed his view on what happens when you die. By his own admission, last year was Bob's worst ever year for his health, after he had shingles, on top of his struggles with rheumatoid arthritis and heart troubles. But he knows there's light at the end of the tunnel. During his triple bypass surgery, when his heart was stopped for 32 minutes, Bob says he had an experience that made him believe in life after death. He said, "I did see the light at the end of the tunnel. I experienced going towards the light and feeling happier than I have ever felt, ever. It was quite extraordinary, and then I woke up a day later and I was okay. I thought, this is great. I no longer fear death and everything." But he says that after mentioning his 2015 near-death experience on a podcast with Kathy Burke, loads of people wrote to me and said, "It's because your body gives out loads of PCT, some chemical to get you through that, and it gives you these hallucinations." I was a bit sad about that. Comedian Bob, 64, underwent surgery after doctors discovered 95% of his arteries were blocked, and told him he risked having a heart attack on stage. So bad was his prognosis, he married his girlfriend of 22 years Lisa Matthews, with whom he has 2 sons, on admission day. But the Gone Fishing star has admitted that last year's health problems were worse than my heart. Already dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, which was in remission for 30 years before flaring up in 2022, he got shingles, a skin infection caused by the same virus as chickenpox and which brings on painful rashes. This combination of health issue caused the muscles in his body to wither, and says now he can no longer exercise like he once could. He estimates that as much as 80% of the muscles in his legs have been lost due to his illness, and fears he may never run again. Hit show Gone Fishing was born after Bob's friend Paul Whitehouse invited him to get out of the house following his heart surgery. But in September last year, an attack of shingles meant Bob had to drop out of co-hosting the show, with Lee Mack stepping in. The change led to a backlash from viewers after Lee chose to fish with a magnet instead of a hook, as he is a vegan, while others complained about the lack of on-screen chemistry. Speaking at the recording in London's Leicester Square Theatre of a podcast with Richard Herring, due out in June, Bob said, "Lee was going to be on the show anyway. But I felt a bit rotten as some people didn't like it. But there you go, that is the world we are living in, isn't it?" The hugely popular BBC Two show, now on its 8th series, follows Bob and Paul as they go fishing around the UK while sharing hilarious tales from their lives. Bob, who has known Paul for 30 years, thinks the format works because they are genuine lifelong friends. He said, "I've worked with Paul since 1989, it is something you can't do as a pretense. I think people enjoy watching our genuine friendship. Nothing happens on the show, but it is nice to have it on in your front room. We make the UK look beautiful and we fish for 6 hours, so the crew can go over and take shots. The success is the friendship." He admits his health problems are still causing him to suffer, and often to need hospital treatment. "I am not very well. I am not very healthy at the moment," he told Richard Herring. "I did a show last week, a fishing show, and there was only 2.5 days filming, and I did it Tuesday, Wednesday and half of Thursday, and I was in hospital on the Saturday. I am sorry, I should not have said that, should I? It's a real downer." Middlesbrough-born Bob's rise to fame has been more than a little unconventional. After leaving school, he studied law at Sussex University before starting a punk band, Dog Dirt, and becoming a solicitor for Southwark Council in London. After moving to a private practice in Peckham, his work helping council tenants who had cockroach infestations led to him being dubbed the Cockroach King. In 1986, he went to see a show by comic Vic Reeves, real name Jim Moyer, and the two formed a band. Bob began to perform on Vic's show, then the pair formed a double act, Reeves and Mortimer. The duo made their TV debut in 1989 on comedy chat show 1 Hour with Jonathan Ross, before capturing the public with their own shows, Reeves and Mortimer and Shooting Stars. A 2005 poll to find the comedian's comedian named the duo as the 9th greatest comedy act of all time. Bob, a regular on panel shows like Would I Lie to You and Taskmaster, insisted he will never try to take a live show around the country again without Vic, but admitted the two have drifted apart. He said, "Jim used to take me to museums when we were on tour, or we used to go to the cinema with Matt Lucas. When I was on stage all I could think about was getting off stage. I had no memory of it and I hoped it went okay. Would I like to do it? I don't know. A lot of people tell me it is not fun touring on your own and that keeps me strong. I get on well with Jim. We did his Painting with Birds show before Christmas and we are doing our own little things at the moment." As you get older you think of all the lovely people I have known and I don't see them anymore. It just seems to happen. We had a right laugh. And he says he isn't impressed with the stand-up comedians of today. Stand-up isn't great, is it? It is quite to be hard to be funny for 50 minutes. I was brought up with people like Tommy Cooper, who was incredibly funny for 20 minutes. The greatest live show I ever saw was Harry Enfield, but it was no surprise his show was only 25 minutes long. I've a bee in my bonnet about the Oxbridge comedians. I can't believe the funniest people went to Oxbridge. Bob and his madcap brand of humor have remained in demand and work has never dried up. He was the voice of the Bulldog in Churchill Insurance adverts, played Frank in the E4 sitcom Drifters, wrote a comic novel, The Satsuma Complex, and released an autobiography. What he didn't expect was to be chosen to interview Paul McCartney for the release of the former Beatles' new book, The Lyrics, a few years ago, and admits he was starstruck. He recalls, "I wanted to turn it down. When I said that to the wife she said what? And she brought it home to me." Paul was amazing. He must put in so much effort to make this little oik make him think he is alright, and that is a lovely thing he still bothers to do. Follow Mirror Celebs on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube and Threads.
Just need